If God knows our past, present, and future, why does he let us make wrong decisions or take wrong paths? That's a great question. I'll take this one and then you can correct it.
Okay,
All
sounds good.
Here's why he does that, because he loves us. Love does not force itself on people. And part of God's love for us is that he lets us make our own choices. Because love doesn't force its way, love allows free will. And so that means, like in all loving relationships, that God risks us making poor decisions. But that's part of giving us free will. And the Bible talks about these things. We reap what we sow. We reap what other people have sown. And we also reap just the reality of living in a broken world. And so God loves us, God cares for us, but in that he's given us free will. And in that people make bad decisions. So we reap what we sow. We reap what other people sow, decisions that they've made. And we reap the reality of living in a broken world. But one of these days, Jesus will return. He'll wipe out all evil for all time. And free will remain, but we'll choose God freely in our worship of him. That's my answer. You want to?
No, that's a pretty good answer. I'm gonna, as I'm reading this question, trying to understand, okay, where's somebody coming from? It could be that this idea of, if I make a wrong decision, am I now out of God's will for the rest of my life? Did I get off the path? And if ever you did choose your own adventure books growing up or anything like that, where you get to the end of the chapter and it says, do you choose this, do you choose this? And you choose something, you go to that chapter and it's like Oregon Trail, you die of dysentery, right? And you're like, oh, that didn't work. So you go back to that chapter and you make a different decision. Some of us are afraid in life that if we make the wrong decision, then we've ruined the story, that we're no longer within God's will. And I think sometimes we can get a little bit too stressed out about, am I making the right decision, wrong decision? And to trust that in the sovereignty of God, even our bad decisions, it says in Romans, God causes all things to work together for good for those who love him, who are called according to his purpose. That God will orchestrate and he will use, even when we make a wrong turn, God can use that for our good, for those who love him and are called according to his purpose. And so not to get so worked up about, oh, I took this job instead of that job, I went to this school instead of that school, and to trust that, okay, if it's not wrong, if it's not clearly sin, I'm going to trust God with that and not worry about all the results of it.
Yeah, the verse that Robert quoted is Romans 8:28. And again, and I'll echo what you just said, and if the angle was that, a lot of times we think God just has this blueprint for our life. If we make that one wrong decision, we messed up the plan. You're not that powerful. You have free will, God is big, and he'll work it out.